Hello everyone, Jack here from KERB. Welcome to the fourth and final day of this week's KERB bootcamp. Just going to have a nice little cheers with Ollie to start off the show. Ollie, hello. Cheers. Oh, good beer, Joyce.
I have a 5 points pale.
Oh, on three. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, covered my laptop. No, it's okay. It's good. Oh yeah. What are you enjoying? Is that a 5 points pale?
That is a 5 points pale with Amarillo and Citra hops.
Oh, I've got a lovely Hepcat. I don't know what hops in it, but I do know that it's my last beer that I have in the house. So deep worrying times.
I'm worried about that. Worried about that for you.
What's your street food craving for today?
Ooh. I'm gonna say an Ugly Duck banh mi.
Oh, how pertinent. How interesting. Mine is someone mentioned a mother flipper today in a Zoom meeting. So I think that would definitely go well with my beer right now. So it's definitely 100% mother flipper dirty Barbie. And if anyone wants to support Manuel and Sammy from Mother Flipper or Al from Ugly Duck or any other traders, they can check out kerbfood.com. Sorry, kerbfood.store there.
Is that
there? Where you can check out Keep the World Turning campaign. So, bye Ollie. See you in a bit. Enjoy your beer. But don't worry, we've got some other people with us today. Obviously, it's the last day of our boot camp this week. And what we're going to be talking about is turning theory into reality, actually getting onto the street, sharing all that hard week, all that postulating, and having the opportunity to share all that like street food wizardry with the masses. So all those questions like, where do you park the van? How do you talk to customers? Like, what were people's reactions the first day? What did you forget? Like, how long did it take to discover what street food kryptonite is? Clue, it's not rain. But before we get to all that, obviously we need to get Carly, our consultation challenge winner, back in. So hello, Carly.
Hey.
How are you today?
Really good, thanks. Really sad this is going to be over, but
nice. Yeah. Good. How did you manage to watch The Founder last night?
Yes, I did. I watched the whole film as well. It's a good film.
Yeah, it's really good. Did you enjoyed it?
Yeah, and that scene inspired me to do my own little diagram.
That looks great. Put it a little bit closer to the screen.
You see?
Oh, yeah, very detailed. I like it.
Yeah. Try to do it to scale as well.
Oh wow! Okay, cool. Get the like little. Is that? Did you use a ruler?
I used a tape measure because I actually can't find a ruler in my house. So.
Okay, cool. Definitely that to scale as well. I'm very impressed. Yeah. So that's from our chat yesterday with Joel, Operation Wunderkind, and all of the different aspects of like how to set up your gazebo will make it easier. Plus theatre, like that kind of art meets science kind of thing. Cool. So today we're going to be talking to two traders about what it's actually like to get out on the street and trade for the first time, and like what their experiences are. So just before we do that, like you've been working for like Club Mexicana, right? For like the last couple of months, and that's been in Seven Dials Market, which is our food hall in Covent Garden. So obviously that's inside. Have you done much like on the street?
Not at all, which is what I'm really eager to get when once we get out of this lockdown.
Okay, so I think today, like the feedback from these people will really give you a couple of things to think about. Just before we start, if you could just turn the volume down a little bit, perfect.
Yeah, sorry.
That's great. So, yeah, we have two guests today. First guest is Becky from Fiery Celt.
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I'm loving the jean dungarees there.
Thank you. Yeah, I've gone all like land girl.
Yeah, it's like popping on the screen. Great. Yeah, okay. So you're currently on our incubator program, and you started with us 3-4 months ago. So we're going to talk a little bit about your experiences, and we also have Alex from Ugly Duck, who is here. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good, good. Where are you right now? That's a beautiful wooden beam in the background.
I'm in my house. Well, back in Leicester. I'm back in Leicester.
Oh, okay, cool. So,
So, yeah, sitting on my old couch, really. Very professional.
Okay. Oh, your
Should
leg.
have flipped the camera down because it's not loading. That's my feet.
Very nice. Okay, so we're gonna basically.
That's all I have to say.
That's okay. Don't worry, we'll come back. It'll be fine. So we're gonna talk to Carly today about like what your experiences have been when you first started doing street food markets. So I'm gonna start with Alex because you joined our Incubator program last year in August. Is that right? Yeah. And it was kind of like your second or third day of trading, and I wanted to ask you like what your street food journey was and what was your first day of trade like?
Oh, my first day of trade. So this was pre-KERB. Yeah, it was a mental day, to be honest. I mean, I got up really early because I really wanted to impress the market manager, and this was a little market down in Hackney, just run on a Sunday. And I got up really early because I really wanted to impress the market manager. Went to go turn on my van. The battery was completely dead. We got a mechanic out, and it took like 2 hours. We ended up coming to the market late. We had to set up in service, which was just terrible on my first day because I've never even set up a gazebo before. We barely sold anything because the market was kind of crap. And then on the way home, my dad was driving because I hadn't even really driven ever before, especially not a van in London. And my dad pulled up to a pedestrian crossing, and then someone went into the back of us, and then the van got written off. And then the second day of trading, we got a hire van, and that was fine. And then my third day of trading was with KERB. So my first ever day with KERB. We got a new van by this point, and it's a West India Key. And my dad's still driving because I've barely ever driven before. Another mistake. And there's these bollards at West India Key, and they come up through the floor. And my dad pulls up behind someone, and they go through the bollards because it goes down. And then my dad drives on, and because he thinks it's fine. And then the bollard comes straight up through the drive shaft, and then that's our second van written off. And I couldn't even trade that day. So that was 2 vans in 2 days. And yeah, it's pretty disastrous, really. But it's been uphill ever since. From then, I've been doing well. But
How's the third van?
The third van's great. It's great. I love it. I mean, I've been driving ever since, which has probably been a good idea. And yeah, the third van's great. I love it. It's a Merc. Who thought I'd be driving a Merc? I mean, it's a shitty Merc, but it's a Merc. So yeah.
It's the blue beauty.
So again?
I was saying it's a blue beauty.
It's a blue beauty, yeah. It's a beauty.
Yeah.
It's got a few scratches, but that's street food, isn't it?
Yeah, and so so obviously, like, you know, that those kind of things can happen, but they don't happen to everyone. But I guess like expecting the unexpected is definitely a good way to approach street food because you just don't know. Every day is different. You're outside. You're exposed to the British weather, who has a complete mind of its own.
Yeah.
So. I was going to ask Becky a question. So, like, when you started first trading for the first time, for anyone who doesn't know, you do Celtic street food, right?
Yeah.
You might be the first ever Celtic street food trader.
Super niche. Yeah.
What was it like? I think people have a difficult time maybe explaining their food, even if it's from countries that people have not been to, or even smaller regions of countries. And that's kind of what Carly's planning on doing. She's doing Hunanese food, which is like a specific area. What was it like trying to explain your food to people?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the easiest job to begin with. I think most people want to just see something super concise on your branding. So when the people who did come over to like check out our food, what we were selling, I'd have to give them this huge spiel about our food, kind of saying, we're from the Celtic regions, which is Ireland, Wales, Scotland. We finally managed to like find a kind of concise way of saying it, which was modern British and Galician food. But yeah, it took a while, you know, because we don't sell food where it's just, we can say, you know, burgers or tacos or, so yeah, that was quite a hurdle to get over. But yeah, no, that was a tough one. Yeah, because I mean, people want to get their food, and you don't want to be sat there talking to them for ages. Well, actually, I kind of love it because I love being able to talk to customers and stuff. But I mean, they're usually in a rush and want to go back to work and eat their lunch. But yeah, I would advise finding a concise way of kind of explaining what you do.
Yeah, because that's one of the things, isn't it? Like, you know, generally most people who work in food and hospitality, they love interacting with other people. But at the same time, you know that if you're only trading for 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, like there's a certain amount of food that you need to sell, like to break even, to get that pitch fee, and so like you need to find that balance between having a chat with people, showing your true self, but at the same time them understanding like what your food actually is.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we got there in the end with a lot of help from KERB. You guys are great.
Alex, so you have a kind of similar kind of thing. So you do, well, you explain what you do and how you've been able to explain that.
Yeah, I mean, we do banh mi, but it's not really like banh mi you'd find in Vietnam. That's intentional because I prefer it my way, I guess. But it's balanced quite differently, and yeah, explaining what we do is kind of difficult because I don't want to call things. I don't want to go out there and say it's Vietnamese per se, or like have loads of branding that might you know, be a nod to that because the food's not really that Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Banh mi, if you don't know, is like a Vietnamese sandwich. It's a baguette. Usually has pickles. Usually has some sort of meat in.
Yeah.
And maybe some coriander and mayo. There's lots of regional differences, and everyone does it a bit differently. But
yeah,
ours is quite different from what they do in Vietnam. So yeah, it's been a journey, I guess, trying to figure out what the best way to market it in a way where you get across what it actually is and make it interpretable, but you also sort of don't make it out like something it isn't.
Yeah, and I guess that's like one of the things, like you have to be authenticity when we started this week, because like on the flip side, doing a dish which is from a very specific place and trying to be authentic and trying to, like, you know, please people who might know it from there or expect what it is and then do it something else. That's why it's so important to think about like what your brand is and who you are, and so that you can defend yourself, or you can just be who you are and you don't have to pretend to be anything else.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think everyone goes on a journey of like trying to show themselves in the way they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see loads of street food traders completely change like their color scheme, the type of frontage they have, even what they sell a lot of the time, because they're like going on a journey of like trying to show themselves in the way they are. Like, I mean, Eat Che is a great example. I mean, you can look at their frontage from when they started to now. It's just so different.
Definitely. Yeah, it's now it's much more vibrant and out there, whereas it started very much like monochrome, black and white. So yeah, there's a lot of surprising things about street food, and for people who've not traded that much before getting like bigger, better opportunities, like Alex, what was one thing that really surprised you about street food that you kind of hadn't anticipated?
I don't, to be honest, I don't know, because I worked in street food a bit before I started it.
Okay.
And I kind of always expect mental things to happen as well. I knew it was really hard to make money before I started, but I don't know. I think just the amount you'd probably have to turn over in the long term to break even, for like loads of VAT reasons, etc., etc. I probably didn't realize quite the scale of that. But I don't know. Like, what surprised me? I guess when you have like a first 3 days like me, like nothing really surprises you that much anymore.
Expect the unexpected. Well,
yeah,
after you.
Well, I guess maybe just like you always have to like know the market you're going to, and maybe be willing to adapt your product and even your price maybe to that market, and like certain things about your store, because London's very varied, and you know, one market you go to you can sell anything, and another one it's
about finding like your specific little niche. And I guess like, so we have a question from someone asking, is it okay to change from your original vision when your food hits the market and it doesn't work? Like, what do you do then? I think, Becky, that's a great question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I definitely learned since trading, especially with KERB, because it allowed us to kind of use it as a bit of market research. We started off with a pheasant burger because we love pheasant, and it's super sustainable, and it's kind of, you know, it's really similar to chicken, but has all the health benefits, like more health benefits, etc. Obviously, I know that, and my dad, who does it with, knows that. But trying to get customers to buy into that was a little bit harder. So we, it was luckily it was coming out of season anyway. So we went back to the drawing board room, and decided to change up our menu a little bit, and definitely saw an increase in sales, which was great. But I mean, just don't be scared to try different things until you find something that works. Obviously, if you can stay within your brand and stuff, that's great. But definitely, like, if you take the time at the beginning to kind of get feedback and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Sure.
What were like your first kind of reactions from people on the street when you were serving your food?
I mean, there was a lot of people who walked past and they were like, pheasant. There was a lot of that, and I was like, it's really nice, I swear. I mean, and we still get it now because we had a venison cottage pie, and lots of people as well are like, oh, venison, like that's kind of weird, like. But it's also you can also use it as like an opening for talking to your customer as well, and like if you have something a little bit unusual, you can use that as an opportunity to kind of like explain what you're about, which was really great as well. And eventually it's one of those things, once people start trying the food and you see people coming back, it makes it all the more worth it, because you know that you're doing something a little bit different.
So Carly, obviously you're doing this boot camp because you want to get out onto the streets and serve your food. Do you have any questions for Al or Becky, like anything that comes to mind about what it's like to start for the first time?
I think just what it's like to be on the market for like the very first day, because basically I haven't done any market experience at all. It's like, how do you transport all your stuff to the market, like actually moving all the stuff from your van into the setup, like that whole process. Like, it's just, I'm so intrigued.
I think one of the things with street food is to be honest, you don't really need to know what you're specifically doing. The most important thing is just to do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because no one's going to know that. And even if they do, you know, no one's going to care. Like, you just have, I mean, you spoke to Joel yesterday. So as long as you've got basic things like a fire extinguisher and a kit for plasters if someone cuts themselves, and, you know, maybe an extension lead. As long as you've got those like few basic things, like really you just got to go and do it. I mean, you need a van and some enthusiasm. That's what I'd say. And like, even if it takes you an extra half an hour for the first time because you don't know how to put up a gazebo, that's fine. Someone will probably help you.
Yeah.
You know, the most important thing is there's loads of things you don't know right now, but that's okay, because you really just have to go out there and do it. And there's no real way of like learning any specific thing apart from just doing it. And, you know, no specific thing is that hard. So I'd say just go and do it, and don't be afraid. Just do it because you can. Basically, that's what.
And definitely, definitely working for a trader is a great first step. Like seeing how they put up a gazebo, put their flooring down, go find water, like all of those kind of things. Yeah, it's quite, you have to be quite proactive, you know. And that's one of the, you know, if that's why you're starting a street food business in the first place, like you have a vision, like you want to do something, you're gonna take a risk. I'm gonna ask Al and Becky, like what's it like when you have a regular customer come back to you? Like, what is it like? Just one of the best feelings.
100%. Yeah, definitely. It's such a great feeling. And like once you start to go to the same places, you know, every Monday or every Wednesday or whatever days you do, you start to recognize people, and you know, people will obviously, some people aren't going to want to come to your stall every single week, but they'll pop by and say hi, and they'll be like, oh, we'll be back next week. It's quite it's a really nice community. Yeah, it's definitely one of the best feelings for sure.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's something that's like intangible and it's priceless, you know. On the day where it rains and you don't really sell much, that one person that comes back and from last week that liked your food is like, you know, everything, isn't it, really? And it's the way we do it, you know, it's why we do it, because, you know, we care. And when other people care, it's lovely, isn't it?
And I just wanted to add as well, it only kind of takes one person who works in an office to enjoy your food, and then they go and tell the rest of their office. And that's also such an amazing feeling. Yeah.
Well, I think this is true in any walk of life, but especially in street food, you never know who that person who's ordering your food is. And like people have got amazing opportunities just from like someone coming and having their food, and it being someone who runs a street food market, or does TV, or is like looking for someone for an event which pays really well. Like you just don't know, it could be anyone. And so like treating every single customer like the hero they are, you know, it's definitely like the approach to have it, and sometimes you can really yield a reward. So obviously like you guys aren't trading right now. So Becky, like what are you doing now to kind of like survive, keep busy, you know, try and get those feelings of like being on the markets?
I know quite a lot of traders have started doing kind of deliveries and stuff like that, but I think because we were quite new, we've kind of taken this time to work on Fiery Celt as, you know, doing some recipe development. We're kind of laying low a little bit at the moment and trying to ride this out from home and come through the other end. But we've taken kind of like more of an e-commerce approach as well. So obviously KERB have got the vouchers, which you guys have kind of put up there. But we also did like a little membership voucher as well to get people. Sorry.
No,
to get people still keep us talking about stuff. We're doing like a bit of blogging as well, a few videos, just kind of keeping the social media fresh. Actually need to post a few of those. But yeah, that kind of thing really. So that when we can finally get back out trading, we can hit, you know, the floor running.
Hit the ground running, you know, like
the ground running. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
And Alex, like you do supper clubs as well, and you did your first supper club like earlier this year, and I know that's the kind of thing that I imagine when things come back to normal, the new normal, that's the kind of thing you'd like to continue doing. Is that right? You've been doing a lot of cooking, I've seen.
Yeah. Yes, I got two things. I've got the street food business and like a supper club, which is an offshoot of that. At the moment, I'm working on the supper club, just trying to produce a lot of content for that Instagram account. Because I think it's good to diversify, because you never know what might take off for you, really. It's good to do loads of things. I mean, for example, you know, lunch markets might not work for you, so it's good to do weekend markets. And weekend markets might not work for you, so it's good to try and get in some private events because they may be great. Yeah. etc. etc. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, just diversify and then pick up.
And I think now's like we've talked about it with Carly, like a different type event different times during the week. But this is a great time to like really figure out like what is your USP and like what interests people about you. So sharing things that you're doing whilst you can't trade is like a really good way so that people are even more excited to come and try your food when you get back on the street. I just wanted to like thank both you, Al and Becky, for joining us today. Do you have one piece of advice for Carly in terms of like that first day of trading on the market, getting there?
I would say keep an open mind and don't let. I remember my first day of trading, how like anxious I was and like worried. One thing I would say is maybe make like a checklist of everything that you need, because I arrived on my first day and I'd left one of my tables behind. So, and the other thing I would say is when you do leave something behind, don't panic. There's always a way around it, and the other traders will help you because they're usually amazing. But they are all great. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. A checklist is great. And yeah, you might have a great first day. It might not be great, and that's okay, because you'll have plenty more days after that. Some of them will be good, some of them will be bad. And yeah, just take it in the context of like, this is a journey you're going on. And if you're not happy with how the first day goes, then that's okay. And if you're happy with how it goes, that's great. Like, just be enthusiastic, be friendly, make a checklist. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
and you'll do fine.
It's all about constant improvement. And you know what? You might not have that perfect first day where you sell out of everything, but you might end up on live broadcasting, streaming, TV, talking about your experiences, just like Alex.
Just like me. Yeah. Driving a van into a bollard is priceless. I tell you that.
Exactly. So thank you so much. And Alex, I have one last question for you. What are you doing next Friday lunchtime?
Next Friday lunchtime, nothing.
Nothing. Would you be up for cooking a banh mi or something close to a banh mi live on TV with us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
Great. Can't say no. Good. Okay. Thanks,
Sweet.
guys. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Love you to speak.
Bye.
Thanks.
Cool. So, Carly, how was that? What was it like talking to people about their like first experiences?
Yeah, it's been incredible this whole week. I feel like all the things that I was worried about, it's kind of been put to rest a bit, and I can focus on what's important and to actually make this a reality as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we talk about a lot with traders, is that when you set up your own business, you feel a lot like you're on your own, and you are on your own. You're in your head a lot of the time. And I think Ollie told me before about this concept and book called like The Loneliness of the CEO. And so like you're the CEO right now, you have the responsibility, and yeah, you don't have anything else, but it's all on you for it to be good. And talking about how you're feeling with other people who've experienced those things. It's always really nice to see people who have had like those similar experiences talk about them and be like, oh yeah, that's how I'm feeling as well. And there's actually a solution.
Yeah, definitely.
Solution to it. So great. What's the next steps then? What's next for the first Hunanese street food trader in London?
Well, I think I've really got to get my story like straight and free flowing.
Yeah.
So story is going to be the first thing, and I'm in the middle of just designing the frontage. So I want to get into my head like what the overall visual is going to be like, and then I can kind of build my brand from it.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of all about the aesthetics.
Yeah.
And then like finding suppliers, sourcing all the bits and bobs, hopefully getting ready to go, get you guys to try my food.
Yeah, definitely.
And there.
Great. Okay, well, this week's been so fun. Like, obviously, this is the first time we've done this. So it's been really nice. I think it's quite a brave thing for you to do, to like talk about an idea live on TV and for it to change and be like not criticized but like questioned and debated and things like that. So thank you so much for joining us to do that. We're definitely gonna check in on you. and maybe not next week, maybe the week after, just to see how things are going. And you know, I know Alex from Ugly Duck's going to be your first customer when you're out on the street.
Amazing.
So yeah, good luck, and yeah, ask us any questions, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. That's the end of this week's KERB Bootcamp, which we're definitely thinking about doing again with someone else. And so if you'd like to apply for that, there is a link in the YouTube comments below to the consultation challenge, which you can fill in. Next week, we're going to be doing a series of lockdown lunches with some street food traders doing their own dishes that you can replicate at home. So we'll be sharing ingredients for that, and we'll be cooking live on air between 1 and 1:30 every week. It's going to be things that you can generally find, hopefully, at your kind of nearest corner shop or nearest supermarket, or when you're going to do a little bit of shopping, and hopefully like some cupboard staples as well. So things like chickpeas and rice and chicken, maybe like lots of different of your favorite street food dishes that you can try at home. So before all of that, if you want to support any of our traders, you can do so here at kerbfood.store. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you on Monday for our first lunch with Mariana from Lagniappe, giving us some carnival vibes to start the week. Cheers. Have a good one.